Hello everybody, John here, welcome back. So, heads up, sorry for the last video, it was pretty cringy. I was laying on my bed because I was leaving that day, so I was kind of like in a rush, you couldn't really set up much. Even though these videos, they're not visually pleasing whatsoever. They are mostly for just listening, and so on and so forth. Anyways, today I want to change up a little bit of something, and I want to talk about venues. And I've been to quite a few shows, not to tap my own, boots here, but, I've been to quite a few. My very first show I went to was back in, I want to say 2014, but it might have been 2013. This was one of the first shows Stick to Your Guns played their new album Disobedient, which is one of my favorite albums. If you ever see that picture, I don't know if I posted it or not, but there's a picture of me with my battle jacket, and on the back is the infinite sign, and I actually got that from that show. And let me tell you something, that was, at the time I was just flabbergasted. I was so happy, I was so excited, I was so pumped. But everything about that show was so fucking shitty. Excuse me. It was so bad. First of all, this was like in January or February in upstate New York. And for those who know, it's blisteringly cold. We're talking about with wind chills in the negatives. That's how bad it was. And that's how it was that day, too. We were in Albany. We were at this shitty bar called, oh God. It was some really shitty dive bar. I forgot the name of it now. Bogies. I think that was the name of it. In downtown Albany. Stand outside for an hour in the cold. Me and I was with my sister and her boyfriend at the time, and we were with his cousins and his friends because he's in the know of everything in the hardcore scene. So anyways, we were standing outside, and then eventually we were allowed to go in because we had an hour early pass to go in and meet Stick to Your Guns. Jesse Barnett. Oh God, oh no. I'm bad with names, and my memory is shot because I'm tired, and it's been a long time. Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel really bad for not remembering the rest of the names. I could see them visually, but in my head I can't. But anyways, sorry, I'm filming this at work, and we got a lot of people here walking around for Christmas, whatever. Anyways, so we went inside, and the venue lady who was like doing the tour, tour management. So it was the tour management lady. She was like, "Everybody, sit down for Stick to Your Guns." And at that point, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Little 13, 14-year-old me going to his first show. I didn't realize, oh yeah, she's telling us to sit on a bar floor. And even the bar bouncer was also the janitor for once a month. He was like, "Oh man, I feel bad. I haven't cleaned these floors in 2 days." So there's piss, shit, blood, spit, snot, and all that. Broken glass, probably beer, stickiness. My God. And the floor was cold. This was a hard floor. This was a hard concrete floor. Anyways, so we sat down. People were asking, Jesse Barnett and everyone else about the band and, favorite tours and stuff. And this was when they were uploading on their YouTube channel. That's a little known fact that Stick to Your Guns has a YouTube channel where they used to upload videos of their tours. This was right after Diamond and before, during, and during Disobedient. So I thought, hey, it would be pretty cool to be in a YouTube channel, a YouTube video. What has it? But anyways, so we were on the ground for an hour, and Jesse Barnett played a couple of acoustic songs, really nice, really beautiful, stuff like that. And then we got up. I almost fell over. My sister fell over because our legs were so cold and asleep from the ground. And Jesse Barnett ran over and held her up. Oh my god. And then it just kept going. And then because this show too, there was supposed to be 5 bands playing. It was Stick to Your Guns and I believe Parkway Drive. And there was 3 other bands. One band didn't eventually come. One band was okay, and the other band was downright awful. We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, so I went to the bathroom, and of course there's no doors on the stalls, so I was pissed. I don't like to stand at the urinals to piss. I'm a toilet person. So standing there and whatnot, I was like, "Hey, is everyone ready for Stick to Your Guns?" Like, yeah, woo, all that kind of shit. And I was like, "All right, fuck yeah." And I tried to look as hardcore as I can. I was wearing my work boots. These were Dickies brown boots, jeans, and a green military style jacket, like a dark olive green jacket you can get at like Walmart or something like that for like $20. It was just. But I loved that jacket. I loved it to death. I wore that all the time. So the shows went, and we were, crammed in. We were like sardines. And first band played, they were all right. Then the second band didn't come, and then the next band came, and then for some reason that's what brought in the mosh pit, and then I got thrown in the mosh pit for the first time. I threw it down pretty good, for about 10 seconds. Then I got swam back into my spot. I was getting kicked, I was getting punched and all that, but. I loved it. I honestly loved it. And when Stick to Your Guns came up, I was so emphatic. I was so happy, and I was screaming my lungs out. My puberty voice was just screeching. It was such an amazing moment, and it's one of my proudest moments, ever. It was just seeing one of my favorite bands play some of my favorite music, and it was so good. But that was my first experience, and then I've had a few others. One of my other notable moments was my second one, which was when I was 16. This was up at Upstate Concert Hall. Rest in peace. To the owner, fuck you. I hope you get drop kicked into a fucking pit. For those who don't know, Upstate Concert Hall was this huge venue. One of the most legendary indoor venues in upstate New York. It was so cool. It used to be called Northern Lights. And it was in this plaza. It was at the one end. It took up like 3/4 of it. And I don't want to get into the logistics of what it was, but basically in the middle was the bar. On the other side was like another bar where if it got really busy, then they would serve more. And then there was like an exit and an entryway. And it was like a U, basically a big U with the bar in the middle. And at the end was the stage. And oh my God, the bands that played on that stage I went to were amazing. First of all, the second time I went, I met a lot of FSU guys. And for those who don't know, FSU stands for Fuck Shit Up. Or, if you want to be a little bit friendly, Friends Stand United. They're this group, I'm going to say group. They're not a gang, I will say that, because they've been really nice and they don't do typical gang stuff. But a lot of them were really nice. I met a lot of them. I met the head guy. He was really cool. And I met some of the band people who were going to play. And I'm trying to remember who played. I think it was Brick by Brick, Ramallah / Blood for Blood. These are basically the same band. I think All Out War was there. I couldn't remember, but I might have missed them out. And Wisdom in Chains. And this was called Freedom Fest 2016, and this was hosted mostly for a guy that got out of prison. This was like his hurrah coming back. And it was such a good show. I remember standing so close to the stage, and the bass and the drums were, it almost made me have a heart attack. That's what it felt like. It was so fucking cool. Oh my god! And then I had a few other shows there. Ramallah was a reoccurring thing. White Trash Rob, God rest his soul, or whatever he's doing now. I don't know where he is or what he's doing, but I know he was doing rough previously. Trying to think, Brick by Brick was also another thing. All Out War. I remember one of the last shows I went to was All Out War, and you can see me in one of Hate56's videos of me just getting fucking just like ballistic missiled by people, because that was the hardest mosh pit I've ever seen. People were going in. And you see my fat ass in the flannel picking up people because they were getting knocked out on the ground. One of my last shows, I fucking decked a guy in the back of the head because he was being an asshole, and a bunch of other people were fucking beating him up, and security dragged him over the barrier there. It was so fucking funny. Guy was a douchebag. He deserved it. Trying to think of like what happened at Upstate Concert Hall. It was just a really great venue. I miss it. I highly recommend it. And then we went to, there was another place. This was a bar / dining hall. This was a dining hall that was made into kind of like a stage area. And this was called Chrome. This was outside of Mechanicville, New York, where I partially grew up. It was between Mechanicville and going on the way to Cohoes, I believe. And it was the fanciest one I've ever seen. It was nice and clean. It wasn't beat up yet. It had a really nice smell to it. The bar was nice and tiny. It was, it wasn't like the biggest thing. People were still ordering food and stuff. It was really fancy. There was places to sit, which is rare. Oh my god! And then that was one of the first places I saw Knocked Loose. This was a really good show. Really, really, really good. Ramallah was there too. Actually, I was watching White Trash Rob live on his YouTube, getting ready for the show, and I was like, man, I can't wait to see it, man. I'm a big fan. Oh my god, it was so cool. And then that place closed down too. COVID really took a hit on everything. It's a shame. It really is. I wish these places did a lot better, because the only other place now is Empire Live, whatever the fuck his name is. It's owned by the same guy, but he's like, oh, I want Albany traffic. You don't want Albany foot traffic. It's trash. You get drug dealers and drug addicts and pedophiles and rapists walking on the streets. It's not good. It's not good. And the place is shit. And then the last show I went to, the very last show I went to was a Stick to Your Gun show at Fusebox, which is this like legendary place in Albany. It's like the show venue, and we went there and it was bad. It was so tiny and cramped. I hated it, and these whores prevented me from seeing Jesse Barnett, and I'm really pissed off. Listen, I say a lot of things about Jesse Barnett, but I will say he's a really good musician. I think he's a really good vocalist. I think he's very smart, and I really do appreciate a lot that he has done. I just think a lot of the time he doesn't think with his mind, he thinks with his heart, and sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes you do have to think with your brain. You have to think things logically. You can have your heart help you with that, and vice versa. But it's just I don't know. Sometimes it's frustrating, and I don't know what's going on with him now, because I think there's been some stuff going on behind the scenes with the band. I know they have a new album coming out, but Matt was the drummer? I think that was his name, Matt. I feel really bad for not remembering, but he left, and it just doesn't seem right. Like something like it feels like something happened, which with a band that's been going along as it has been, bound some stuff is going to happen. Unfortunately, this is how it is. But yeah, I mean that's my experience. I'm sorry I don't have anything else crazier. You know, I think I was just there for the music. I wasn't really there for the environment all that much, except for the beginning and like the end. Um, well, I will say, actually, I will say the last show I went to, the day before I was in a mental ward. Let that sink in. Let that let that marinate in their mind for a minute of how I was. So yeah, well, with that weird note, I'm gonna leave this video off here. Thank you for listening and thank you for being here. If you got any crazy stories of venues or your favorite shows and concerts, let me know in the comments. You know, give this video a dislike. Yeah, I always appreciate a dislike. And hopefully the next one, some good stuff will come out. All right, I'll see you.